Hello and welcome to the Zach Brown Show, the show that introduces you to old friends for the first time. I'm your host, Zach Brown. So, from the outset of this show, something that I never wanted to do was do a monologue. Not because I'm against it or anything like that. I just honestly really enjoy the conversation aspect and hearing about other people's stories and sharing that with you. But just kind of thinking of some things lately that have been just kind of on my heart and wanted to talk to you guys about, because I always say that this is like the proverbial table, like we're all just kind of sitting around, hanging out, sharing a cup of coffee or whatever's in your cup, and just expressing thoughts, sharing, and hopefully creating a little bit of a family here. So I just kind of wanted to talk about, what's in a name, or ask that question, I guess. There's so many famous people with, like famous nicknames. Alexander the Great, Doubting Thomas, Magic Johnson. Princess Diana was referred to as the People's Princess. Dizzy Gillespie. However these people got these nicknames, it was definitely something that carried with them for the rest of their life. And maybe it became synonymous with who they are. People couldn't get away from those things. Like, no matter what happened to Alexander the Great, that was how he was referred to, like, for the rest of time, the Great, which is amazing. And it's kind of funny because this silly thing that we create as humans, these archetypes, these stereotypes of what people are, it's almost like the world is one giant, it's part of the Breakfast Club. There's the brain, there's the jock, there's the outcast, the princess, whatever. But it's really kind of true. It seems like everybody falls into some sort of category, one way or the other. And a lot of people really embrace that. And what's kind of funny is things that once were very popular kind of fall out of vogue, and things that were not something you wanted to be is now very trendy. Like right now, if you are into comic books and superheroes and Star Wars, like somehow your culture is thriving. You are the king. My cousin Kevin, he's like, this is our time. This is amazing. For years, you were the nerds, the dorks, the dweebs, and now the things that you're into are the movies that are making billions of dollars. It's kind of silly. And I just think about how that's amazing. It's whatever category you fall into. And me, I have never been, the brain. I've never been the jock, or the stud, but I've just been the nice guy. And for those of you who know me from the Here at the Magic community, often hear me referred to as Nice Guy Zach Brown, which was a title gifted to me by a friend of mine. And that's kind of what I live by now. And it's a standard that has been set for myself, and something that I hold in high regard in some aspect. I mean, obviously, like, it'd be amazing to be known as like handsome guy Zach Brown or whatever, but to be the nice guy is kind of a cool thing. My great grandfather, in the very, last few days of his life, as most people do, was kind of like passing along last bits of wisdom to us and his family. And it was one of those things I will never forget. The last words that he ever said to me was, he pulled me in close, and with just his weak and frail arms, gave me the best hug that he could. And with tears in his eyes, looked up at me and just said, "Zach, always be friendly." And that's such a simple thing. But I honestly think that if the world at large operated by those simple words, always be friendly, how much happier of a place that we would be, just to live, just simple things. I mean, we are a faulted creature, the human being, but I believe that it's something that we owe to each other to try for better, whether that is treating one another better, or even just recognizing when you haven't treated somebody the best that you could, and going back and making restitution. Maybe they don't receive it, but you need to do your part by being kind, by being friendly, as my pop-up said. And I think about the words of King Solomon, that he said, "A good name is more desirable than great riches. To be esteemed is better than silver or gold." And so I guess my question to you, the listener, my friend, is what's in a name? What does your name carry? When people hear your name, what nickname follows it? Whether it's actually attached to your name or what that individual attaches to your name. Are you the nice guy? Are you the person that's always helping? Are you the class clown? Which is not a bad thing. We need so much more of that. I feel it is very important now more than ever that we as a society would decide that we would set a standard for ourselves, that the legacy that we hope to leave behind is something that we're starting today, right now. Maybe you don't have, a great relationship with your family, but you've decided that you're going to make amends, that you are going to strengthen those bonds, that you are going to bridge the gaps. I mean, you could be, insert your name here, the restorer. I know that sounds all, waxy poetic and Aesop's fable, but it's true. We, the royal we, need to be better. We need to be going about trying to maintain a good name, looking for those moments of how can I help? How can I be good? Mr. Rogers said that, in the times of chaos, always look for those that are running towards the trouble because those are the people that are helping. I'm paraphrasing, but you get the idea. There's so much hurt, there's so much confusion, and there's a lot of unknowns. And I think so many times adults are best at playing pretend. We think that we outgrow playing pretend when we leave childhood and enter into adulthood, but I honestly think that most of us wear masks more often than, allow our genuine, authentic selves to come forth. And that's okay. Sometimes, obviously, you need to put on a brave face, and there's a reason for that. But I think that we just genuinely need to express when we need help, or we need to be okay with receiving help. That when sometimes things are tough, you have to make jokes. You have to find the joy. I've seen pictures of, people in war zones who are sitting down with a violin or at a blown up piano because it was their only moment of solace in this thing that felt normal and was bringing them joy in the face of great adversity and heartache. And I don't want this to be like a sad thing or a heavy thing. I'm kind of expressing my thoughts, and I wanted to, again, just kind of sit down and just share with you, my friends, how I'm feeling right now, and asking you to develop your nickname. Who knows what it's going to be? It could be something wild, something silly. But I think if we all wake up every day holding to a standard for better, to be better to one another, to love, to reach out, and to be okay with not agreeing with our friends and our family, but to be peaceful and civil about those things. You don't always have to bring up or state why you feel the other person is wrong, but it's a wonderful thing to give them the space to express how they feel or what they think or how they view. And again, you don't have to agree, but value that person and show them value by just listening. And again, that will lend, I think, so much to just the human experience, that we can all be okay to share what we think and feel safe knowing that the other person may or may not disagree, but in the end, we still love and value each other. If nothing else, for just being a human, a fellow human, here on the spinning marble that we call planet Earth. So to you, my friend, my listener, I thank you for your time. I wish you the best day ever. Go be golden. I'm here rooting for you. Well, that's all for this episode. Want more of The Zach Brown Show? Follow on Instagram or give us a like on Facebook. I'll post behind-the-scenes pictures and all the latest updates. I'm Zach Brown, and I want you to remember, it's easier than you think to hypnotize a chicken. Have a good one.